project number 4 of the Confident Communicator, How to Say. Dylan will be speaking out of the Confident Communicator Manual. He'll be speaking about one of his favorite hobbies and will be giving us an in-depth look at what he enjoys doing in his spare time. Please welcome Dylan.
Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. My father, brother, and I have a lot of things we like to do for entertainment, whether it's playing basketball or going to the movies. We always try to find something to keep us preoccupied. But out of all the different activities and different hobbies that we enjoy doing, there's one thing that we really love to do, and that's exercising our Second Amendment. Yes, I'm talking about guns, and not these small little air rifles. I'm talking about the ones they're passing laws against. You see, growing up, my brother and I, we were a little bit of pyromaniacs. The moment I got a can of hairspray in one hand and a lighter in the other, all bets were off. But it was even the sight of even the smallest explosion that always had us in awe. That's why we love fireworks. But growing up, I found out that guns had a unique talent for creating these explosions. Well, of course, we were young, so we can just have our own guns. So we looked to other things. We play a lot of video games, play a lot of World War II games, some futuristic like Halo, and of course my favorite, Gears of War. And they all have the same thing: blood, gore, and of course, guns. It wasn't just video games though. It was movies, TV shows, probably about 80% of the internet. And what I found out was it was pretty hard to get away from the idea of a gun, probably because we're a very violence-centered culture here in the U.S. So that being said, I would say around the age of 13 or 14, I had finally shot my very first gun. I still remember that day. It was a hot summer, scorching day in Arizona, so we all know how that goes. Probably 107, 108. And my friend, my brother, and my friend's father decided to go out over to the desert over here, and we'd go shooting. And what they brought was an average size 22 with a simple scope on top and a long banana clip. And what we decided to do was we'd take turns, each shooting it. But when it came to my turn, I must admit I was a little nervous. It had been my first time shooting, and I was very unsure. But when he handed it to me, it seemed like everything changed. Now, I don't know if you've ever shouldered a rifle before, but you kind of feel like a real badass. I went from a 15-year-old high school boy to Mark Wahlberg in the movie Shooter in 2 seconds. I felt like I was going to be taking out 90 CIA guys while jumping into a helicopter or something like that. But I must admit, it felt good, shooting it and holding on to it. And finally, I found myself becoming intrigued from shooting. It was fun, and I enjoyed it. And luckily for me, over the past couple of years, my own father decided to, I guess you can say, create his own arsenal. And what he started out with was 2 22s, average size rifles. Then he upgraded to a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun. And then he decided to top it off with a high-powered, black, long-barreled sniper rifle. So we decided to take these toys down to the shooting range. And again, I must admit, it was a little scary at first, because like my first time shooting, I had never been to a shooting range before. So I was unsure, and I kind of knew what to expect. I've seen them in the movies, I've seen them in the TV shows, but it was still a little nerve-wracking. And as we pulled up, I felt like it was 1943 and we were on the beaches of Normandy. That's how loud it was. So we got these headsets that, thank goodness, they muffled out almost all the sound. And we finally filled out the paperwork, and we finally began to get to the shooting area and start shooting. And what we did was we shoot different guns at different targets, and we take turns doing that. But when it wasn't my turn shooting, I decided to look around, take a gander, if you will, at what other people are shooting. And I'll tell you what, if you're ever considering robbing some random person's house, you might want to go down to a local shooting range and see what some people are packing, because if that doesn't change your mind, I don't know what will. But anyways, I love going to the shooting range with my father and my brother. It's always a great time. Every time. We always go on a random weekend to have fun and really enjoy ourselves. But one thing I always prefer to do is use caution, and I would recommend that to anyone. They're very dangerous weapons, and you always hear about the thousands of guns accidents every year about some hunter shooting his friend or something. But it's still fun and enjoyable. Personally, my favorite is shooting clay pigeons with a 12-gauge shotgun. I don't know if anyone has ever done that before. And I love when they fling those little suckers up high, and you just get to aim and just nail them and feel like a real marksman. But you don't get too cocky, because it's still a shotgun. Anyways, thank you for listening to me.